Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are back with the War Report. The War Report, the real voices of Military City, U.S.A. Lost one. This is lost three. Are you lost too? We talking about our president. We jumping right into it, and we're going to say what we got to say. You know, when you win something, you admit it, and when you lose something, you admit it. But in our situation right now, we're putting the entire country at bay. I mean, there's reasons why the president-elect sits in those security briefings every day. There's a reason for that. I mean, that's continuity of power. You have to do a lot of different things to get that power transferred to the new regiment. It's not easy. What you think, Tony? I mean...
Let me tell you, I've lost elections, and it's tough.
Yeah.
But if you care about your electorate, the people that you're there to represent, you want a smooth transition.
Yes.
When I lost, I went over to the person who beat me in the election, and I said, listen, congratulations, I'm here. If there's anything I can do, it wasn't about that person. It's about the people we represent.
Okay. All right. With that, we've given you a good opening of what we're going to be talking about today. We're also going to be talking about payday loans. But right now, I want to introduce my co-host, Mr. Honorable Keith Tony, who will lead us in a beautiful prayer for today's lecture.
Thank you, Smitty. Heavenly Father, please wrap your arms around our country right now. You know what our needs are. Let those in power come to their senses for the greater good. We ask it all in your holy name. Amen.
All right. Some good things got to come out of this meeting, too. Now, we've been talking over the months about beautiful, productive, excellent women in our community. I mean, we have so many women that have done so much for us. I mean, and really, if we look at it, the women are the ones who carried the vote.
Black women, especially black women in particular. Yes.
Yeah, we won. We won.
Right.
More people in America voted than any other election anywhere voted this year. So thank you, San Antonio. You did your part too.
Amen.
Lots and lots of people voted. So that's the wonderful thing.
Right.
So with that, I want to see if my co-host is going to come up with a beautiful woman that we're going to talk about. So if you're ready to start, Tony, go ahead.
We're ready to start, Smitty. We're going to talk about the one person who really changed things in Texas here, the great Barbara Jordan, the late great Barbara Jordan. She was a lawyer, civil rights leader, first black person elected to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction, and the first Southern black woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. She was born in February of 1936, and she died January 17th, 1996 in Austin. She graduated from Wheatley High School, Texas Southern University, and Boston University School of Law. She won the Spring Iron Medal, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Delta Sigma Theta sorority proudly calls her a member. So thank you for letting us talk a little bit about a great, proud black woman who moved the needle for all of us, the late, great Barbara Jordan.
And that's one of the community centers that you see on the east side.
Right.
Where you will see the Barbara Jordan Community Center.
Absolutely.
And it's been open for what? The last 40, 50 years?
She
actually, open a long time,
she actually came there and visited. So,
okay. It's named after her. And that's a wonderful thing that the city of San Antonio did for Miss Barbara Jordan. All right, the next person I want to talk about is my significant other, my wife, Dr. Jacqueline Elaine Smith. Well, Dr. Smith has been a native of San Antonio forever. I mean, this is her home. She was a track star at Wheatley High School. She did quite a bit there. But what I'm talking about her today, the reason I'm talking about her today is because of some of the significant things you can accomplish with a family. I mean, Dr. Smith, Jackie, had three girls. Three girls before she completed all of her degrees to become a doctor with a degree in leadership. Now, with those children, this woman went to Our Lady of the Lake for at least 12 years. She got an associate's degree from St. Philip College. And as a matter of fact, she was on the phone, what do they call that thing, Zoom?
Yeah.
She was on Zoom this morning mentoring kids that are attending that school right now. But she went on to Our Lady of the Lake after that with that associate's degree. And she received her bachelor's degree from Our Lady of the Lake. And then she went right back. She didn't, like she said, don't miss a beat. You stay in school to get what your degree you want to. If you're a young person, you can have a doctorate degree by the time you're 30 or 27, 28. Amen. You have to do it. So she went on from her bachelor's degree into her master's program. She completed that. And all of these degrees now, mind you, Dr. Jackie maintained a 3.9 and 4.0 GPA. That woman got brains. She got her head, but she's brainy. She's smart. All right, so after she got a master's degree, she went on to get her doctorate. She has a doctorate in leadership, and now she's an associate professor at Our Lady of the Lake University. So my hat's off to my wife. I'm proud of her for what she has done. So continue to move forward, and let's continue to do things and recognize our women that do things in America. Amen. So thank you, Dr. Jacqueline Smith.
All right.
All right, next we want to talk about is, we were talking about the president a second ago, and I wanted just to say we accomplished what we've set out for. We removed this man from the presidency, but the transition is stalled right now.
Right.
And it's only stalled because of GSA, right? To tell the truth, GSA is the one holding up everything. And she
with his blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his blessing.
She don't have to have his approval to release those funds so they can start paying people to transition.
That's right.
So she's doing this on her own. So I was just thinking that there may be a reason for her to be personally sued, because she's doing that on her own. You know, President Trump is slowly getting around to admitting that he has lost the race for the presidency, and he's going to have to get out of the White House. I mean, I hope he transitions like a professional, like real men do, with honor, and say things to the incoming president like he's supposed to.
He hasn't even confirmed that he'll attend the inauguration. He wouldn't talk, so he wouldn't say that.
Ain't that something?
No.
I mean, with 306 votes, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to move right along. I was just driving around on the east side, and I see all these businesses that are flourishing right now, and these businesses are these payday loan places.
Oh, yeah.
I see the Cash Store on the east side.
Right.
I see Speedy Cash on the east side. I see Title Max on the east side. And that's just three. But if you ride over on the corner of Houston Street and Martin Luther King, you have 1, 2, 3 Speedy Cashes, not Speedy Cashes, but cash places and pawn shops.
Right.
I mean, those places are flourishing. And they're flourishing right now because America is in a crisis. People don't have jobs. People can't make money to pay their rent.
Right.
I mean, somebody's going to have to break this. This system's going to have to break somewhere.
They're economic vultures. I mean, they wait for the body to before it's dead. They come and start.
Then they come in and they swoop up on you and they take advantage of you. So let's say you go to one of these cash stores. Let's talk about the title loan first.
Right.
Now, what exactly is a title loan? A title loan is you have a car that's paid for and you have a title to it. You take it in there and say, hey, I want to borrow money against my car. And I think you can borrow up to $3,000. And if you go in there and let's say you take $1,000 on your car and you turn over your title to them, now it's time for you to pay that $1,000 back.
With interest.
With interest.
High
interest is from 40 to 70%.
It's a ripoff.
So that's almost 100% interest. So if you borrow $1,000, you nearly gonna owe them $1,000 back.
Right.
Don't mess around and be late with that payment.
No.
So you borrowed $1,000 to take care of immediate needs. Now you're in debt for $1,500 to $2,000 before you get done with them.
That's right.
And no matter how you keep paying them, your interest keep compiling, and you keep losing money.
And you better pay them or they'll take your car.
They will take your car. They'll send somebody at it.
Oh, yeah.
You got Rent-A-Center over there, and Rent-A-Center ain't that bad, but they charge you by the week. They say, well, you can get a 75-inch TV for $20 a week. That's $80 a month.
Right.
And I ain't good at math, so Dr. Jackie, how much is $80 times 52?
Well, you can buy, especially now, you can go to Walmart and get a 55-inch for $300.
Yeah,
so
TVs are down.
Borrow $300 from your mama and go buy the TV and pay her back.
Yeah, but right now, don't, because you paying money that you'll never see again, and it's gone.
Right.
So you can do better. Please don't do it. Don't do the cash, the title places. I mean, sometimes we have to get money and we think those are the only places that we can go.
Right.
I mean, there are other sources. I mean, you should do everything in your power to avoid these places, because once they get you in the tentacles of their trap, they're going to keep you there until they, excuse my language, rape you. They're going to take all your money.
Right.
So don't allow them to do it. You end up getting $1,000 right away, so that's instant gratification with that $1,000. But the long term, you're going to be hurting, and your family's going to be hurting. So my best advice I can give you on that, do not go to these stores if you can avoid it. I mean, there comes times where everybody have to do the worst things that they never want to do, but if you can avoid it, by all means, avoid it. Don't go.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And it's ironic that when I was a kid, and again, I was born in 1952, we had loan sharks in the community that everybody knew. That's illegal now. So, but they weren't charging the hefty interest that these so-called legal places are charging.
Yeah.
But if my uncle, who's gone now, but he was a loan shark, everybody knew it.
Kept money.
You can get money from it.
Yeah.
And the interest wasn't much.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to loan you the money in the neighborhood. But now that's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal now, but people still do it. My grandmother, bless her heart, her name was Willie Ann Robertson, but we all know her internally as Mama Coon. She sold liquor.
Oh, yeah.
And she loaned money.
Yeah.
And I would always see her with these big rolls of money. And I'm 5, 6 years old, hanging around watching all these people drinking and taking and getting money from her. So, put it on the books. That was the call.
Put it on the
books.
That's right.
And then when you put it on the books, you come back when you get paid.
Right. That's right.
And then you pay it off.
That's right.
But if you didn't pay it off back then, you can get the sheriff or the police to go get your $10.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll go get it for you.
Yeah, because
that's how small
he was getting free liquor, so he's going to do it for her.
Yeah, he getting some kind of kickback. I don't know what, but he getting a kickback.
And ladies and gentlemen, all this advice you're getting here and suggestions, information, if you stop by Casa de Smitty's at 1850 East Houston Street, Smitty's up there, I'm usually there, stop in and say, hey, look, what were you talking about? Don't be afraid to ask us. We'll sit down and we'll walk you through it. So you can get that information in addition to the good food and great service, but you can get this information up there at Casa de Smitty's at 1850 East Houston Street.
That's right. I mean, that is our sponsor for this week, Casa de Smitty's. And we appreciate the contribution to allow us to bring the show to you. All right, it is impossible to receive without giving. Listen to what I'm saying now. It is impossible to receive without giving. Now, I ain't a minister, but I'm going to preach to you a little bit today. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure, listen to that, for with the same measure ye meter withal, and there shall be measured to you again. It kind of sounds like Joe Biden, but you got it, right? Basically, it's saying you have to give to receive. This is Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Luke chapter 6, verse 38. All I'm saying is, like I said a couple weeks ago, if you ain't done nothing by now, it's likely that you're probably not going to do anything for charity or for somebody else. But I'm asking every one of you in our community now, well, since we done got past this election, to do something for somebody, to go out and help somebody. I mean, you know these people are struggling, and if they need something, give them something. Try to help this community maintain during these crises, because it's not easy.
That's right.
I mean, and it's stressed out from the top down to the bottom.
That's right.
I mean,
if there's an elderly person in your community and you see them out there struggling to try to mow their lawn and pick up the trash, just go by and do it. Just do it for them. That'll help the community. That's a great point, Smitty.
And don't always have your hand now.
No.
I mean, you go and you pick up 2 pieces of paper, and the next thing I see is the palm of your hand looking to get paid. That's wrong. I mean, not everything is worth you asking to get paid for. I mean, you got to do something for somebody.
Right.
So I'm asking you to give, and it shall be given unto you. Giving indicates that you have not allowed yourself to concede to greed. You have not conceded to greed as long as you are giving. But if you're not giving anything, you're greedy. That's the bottom line. You are greedy, and you kind of, I don't even want to say selfish, but greedy is the main word.
That's right.
So I'm asking you to give. That way you don't be called greedy.
That's right. That's right. Give of your time. That's very valuable as well. Dr. Smith, Smitty's wife, mentors still, as busy as she is. So that's the most valuable commodity we have, time, because we can't get that back. You can loan money, you can lose money, you get it back. But she doesn't get that back, but she still gives. She still gives. She doesn't have to, but she does. So that's a great thing.
And it ain't about the money. Well, we need money. We all understand that as a fact.
Right.
But giving your time and your feelings is not always about money.
That's right.
So don't always have your hand out. Say, all right, I'll take care of that for you, and go on about your way. Like Mr. Tony was saying, you see the older people in their yards trying to keep the yard looking good. Help them out. I mean, so many people right now are going up in age. They're 60 and 70 years old, and they may even be the only one in the household.
Right.
And they may have been the only one in the household for months and years. But nobody, your neighbor that's been there for 40 years won't go next door and find out what's going on.
Right.
You got to help our community grow. We still have the power to rekindle our community. Don't give up and think it's gone away. We still can bring it back. I mean, it's teeter-totting on the ledge right now, but we don't want it to go. So do something. You see something, do something. Let's make it happen.
That's right. There was a time, and that Mr. Smith's alluding to, in our community, we may not have had the material things we have now, but we had a sense of community. We knew if my mom would come in and ask my father, have you seen Sister Jones? He said, it's been a couple of days. She'd send us over there. Go check on her.
Yeah.
Go check and see if she's okay. Make sure she's all right. That sort of thing. We, give back to people. I've seen people come in his spot, and they were hungry. There's one young lady. She's not young. I say that euphemistically, but she would come in, and she might have enough money for a meal. 3 or 4 people. I've seen people jump up and say, "I'll get it," because that's the spirit he puts out in his spot. So we'll jump up and say, "Don't worry about it. We got you. We got you." Kids. Toys. How many toys have you given out up there? School supplies.
Both of us have done that. I mean, we've served over 5,000 kids and families in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, we've hand in hand combated this back to school as well as Christmas toys. And then we've done some Thanksgiving too. We've even done turkeys.
We've done turkeys.
So it's about giving and giving your time and giving your resources. If you don't know it, Casa de Smitty's is available for your repasses. You can always come there and use the facility for your family to sit together and have a dinner or whatever you may like. And we will dress the place up for you. So if you want to use the place, and it's free of charge, by the way, you don't have to pay when it's a repass. So let me know if you need that. All right, so now we've done that. So let's keep moving. There was a kid in Church, right?
Right.
And the Church police pulled up behind him. And so rather than him stop in the car, he drove home and pulled in the driveway. And they told him to get out the car. When he got out the car, he ran up to the front porch hollering, "Dad, Dad, Dad."
Right.
And the police, if you run, it's an instinct. They are going to run behind you.
Right.
It doesn't even take two, no question about it. They're going to run behind you. So why are you running from the police when you know they're going to come and get you? Now, if those 2 or 3 cops don't get you, they got 40 other ones out there that can help. They can cut off every part of that city and get you. So don't do things that cause trouble for you. I mean, you didn't, that young man, to me, I'm sorry that he had to get tased, and the police officer told the dad, if you don't calm down, I'll tase you too. And I feel like he meant that. Now, I don't think you can prosecute a person for saying something like that. He didn't tase the dad, for as I know.
No.
But when you are approached by the police, running is the last option. I mean, that's if they shooting at you or something.
Well, I'm glad they didn't shoot him, because if he had made a strange move while running and turned around with his hand, they might have shot him.
They might have shot him right on his front porch.
So don't run. Just stand there and engage them and say, "What are you stopping me for?" They might have put handcuffs on him, and he could say, "This is where I live. Let me call my parents. My parents are in the house."
And they probably would let you do it.
Let me get my parents.
But if you don't give them that option,
right,
you run,
don't run,
and you're going to get taken out. So, I'm sorry for that young man and his family, what they had to go through.
Right.
And I don't think, and also he had marijuana on him. That was another thing. They found that out. So they've charged him with 2 or 3 different things. I mean, and he's been arrested before in Church too. They had 2 arrests on him prior to.
The police chief in Church is upset. He said that it appears his officers overreacted when they kicked him and kneed him and that sort of thing, because they said he really wasn't fighting back.
No.
So,
yeah, that was a little extreme, wasn't it?
Right.
So we hopefully they won't do that.
Yeah, he was wrong. He shouldn't have run, and they were wrong because they overreacted.
They did excessive force.
Right.
All right, the next topic we want to talk about is wreckful politicians. Some politicians go out of their way to hurt people. I mean, we're going to start locally. There have been dirt and smear tactics passed around on the east side. I mean, all the way back to, I remember, to Ivy Taylor on up to now. It's not that important for you to just drag somebody's name through the mud for you to get a position in the government, in the city government or the federal government. I mean, you don't have to go take the low road every time.
No.
Stay above that. I mean, stay above reproach. Try and communicate your goals. Talk about what you plan to do.
That's right.
Rather than talking about, well, he got 3 wives and 27 children. You don't have to put that man's information out there.
No.
That ain't nobody business but him and his 3 wives. Right. I'm just joking.
Right.
Y'all.
Well, and if I'm a 71-year-old grandmother trying to